everybody, and welcome to another episode of Raging Out in Clash. My name is Jen, and I'm here with SK as well.
Hello.
And it's been a while, but today we are going to talk about a few things. Might be a short one today, might kind of drag out and be as long as our normal ones are. But we've got three topics that we want to touch on today. We've got clan games. There's been a little bit of a change, to say the least, in clan games, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how our wars have been going. And what was the third thing we were going to talk about today?
It was just more of a general topic of interesting things that I've seen on the forums.
Right, in the forums and whatnot. And we can just kind of, at the end, maybe talk about just how our clan has kind of been changing a little bit. We've got a couple of people upgrading Town Hall, or one for sure, and just kind of where the direction of like that is going. And you will entertain us with a Can't Fix Stupid at the end as well.
Yes, because they're never in short supply.
No. Although you have been having more of them than I have, so I don't know what that kind of implies, but
it must be my wonderful introduction. you must have the induction chat down where they don't ask silly questions.
I don't know. I mean, kind of not even getting on a topic yet, but I've noticed lately that I don't know if people are just getting lazy or they were excited in the beginning to help out and now it's just laziness. But I've noticed that, people will join the clan and no one will even say hello to them. Or, it'll take forever for someone to even acknowledge that they've come in the clan. And I'll be sitting there knowing that, specific people are online because they're in my friends list. And I don't know if it's because they expect me to always be doing it because they see me online. But it's just kind of annoying because, I shouldn't, you and I shouldn't always have to be doing it, or a co-leader shouldn't be doing it. The other people should be acknowledging that there's someone new in the clan and helping them out.
Yeah, no, I've noticed that too. Does raise a bit of a concern. And you're right, I don't believe it should be people that have, elder, co-leader, what have you. It's not their responsibility, and their responsibility only. Any member of the clan should make other people who join the clan feel welcome and give them the induction chat. And that I have noticed it, and I do feel that that's something that I notice and helps influence me in terms of who has potential, who cares about the clan, and actually wants to make a difference to the clan. Just because you're a member, for me, it's if you're online and you're not saying hello to these people, then that's just rude. But also, it is not a very good impression, is it? I mean, granted, you get people that come in and they don't say anything, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't. And I don't know if you're right in that. Are they just becoming a little bit lazy because they think you and I or some other co will do the job? I don't know. I think it's the very beginnings of something that we have to consider at some point. How do we have our clan know that, that's not the behaviour that we're looking for? I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I don't know. I would like to say that maybe, just a friendly reminder in a mail might help. Just, but I mean, even that, not everybody reads mails. And I mean, it's just a little frustration. I mean, it's common sense, when somebody joins, just say hello, get them, engaged in a conversation. And I mean, if people can't even do that, it's like you said, like, are they in it for the clan, or are they just taking up space? Because I know that we've gotten rid of a couple people that were just taking up space. They weren't in it for the clan, because you could tell by, their donations and their inactivity with everything else in the clan. They were just, a body in war, did their attacks, and then left and didn't care about anything else. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not great. I have noticed that sometimes it is elders that are on, but they're also not saying something. So I feel like just because you're an elder doesn't mean that that's you. You're set for life. I think that
Right.
the behavior that you showed, that that you were rewarded with
It
a
still needs to
promotion
be
should
consistent.
be,
It needs to be
yeah,
consistent performance.
it should be continued. It should be, that should be just because you want to be, not because you're trying to get promoted.
Yes, and I mean, I think too, just with everything that's been going on outside of the game right now, because I mean, school is out, but I do think that people still do have school. I mean, that doesn't mean that they can't be doing these things, but I do know that people still have jobs to go to and have school because they're doing it online and whatnot. And I mean, even for myself, there are days where it's just like, oh, do I want to do, like, somebody's coming and it's just like doing the same thing over again. And it gets, for me, there are days where it's just like, oh, I don't want to do this. Just go and, do whatever. But I mean, I can understand that side of it if they're kind of just going through a little lull where it's just like, I've got other things that I'm focusing on right now, and then hopefully they'll pick up again.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, especially some of the 8s that we promoted, I mean, they were, pretty gung ho about, getting everybody to get their stuff in and done and whatnot. So, like I said, I hope that it's just with everything that's been going on outside and with people still needing to focus on exams and stuff like that, because they are doing them online and whatnot else. So hopefully that's the case. And
yeah, I mean, there are just days when it's like, oh, someone else has just joined and they're not saying hello. They're just sitting there. And then you just, at some point you're just like, oh, here we go again. It does get tiring to go through the rigmarole again of.
Well, I mean, even for myself too, like I've created a shortcut in my copy and paste section where when somebody joins, I paste it up there instead of having to type the whole thing out now, because I put in a lengthy one and it was always
You're a lot about the chit chat. That's probably why I get the most kind of fixture, because I'm just like, welcome. This is what you have to do.
Well, I mean, and that too, like, it's tiresome when somebody joins and you ask them, have you done this, and they say yes, and then you tell them what else they need to do, and then they just disappear. And I mean, if you've got 2 or 3 people joining one right after the other, typing all that out just gets to be a pain in the ass sometimes. So I put it in my copy and paste section, but I mean, even that, it's a hassle to go in there and then copy it or like to paste it in there to find the right one, and then 2 seconds later they see what's required of them, then they leave, and then 2 seconds later somebody else joins, and then it's the same thing over and over again. It's just,
I do get very conscious of the fact that sometimes chat is just filled of me welcoming new players, and none of it's turning out. They either flake out and leave, or they go offline, or what have you. And it's very disheartening to see your chat being filled with the same old spiel. But the spiel is important.
no, it is. I won't deny that.
I don't know. That is just sometimes it's just when they start joining one by one by one by one. You're like, just everyone get in the door. in one go, and then I can just say it once rather than me repeating myself again 5 minutes later. So yeah, it's just finding that balance. And again, you're still playing the odds of, okay, not been sworn at today, must be due, so not being told that my clan is crap or that we're stupid or what have you. So you gotta wade through all the crap before you can get to people that are somewhat normal.
Well, I mean, today is just a good example too. I mean, we haven't had a lot coming in and whatnot because I did close the clan for this last war, but we had somebody today, and the first thing I asked he was asked was, "Have you read the clan description?" He said, "That's the first thing I do before joining a clan." It's just like, why can't everybody be like that?
You'd think, right? I know, and he's probably thinking, "Why are you being so stupid and asking me stupid questions?"
Yeah. Well, and then I asked him what army he used for war as well, and he's like, drags and hogs. And I asked him, I said, in the same army? He's like, no. And I was like, you'd be surprised how many people use that. And I
don't think that was the same person. I think those were two separate people. But those were two questions that a lot of people fail on.
Yeah. So, well, and two, I think he thought that I was wanting him to use that. Like, use hogs and dragons. I'm like, no. Like, some people do, and they think it's good, and it's just not. I mean, if you're a skilled attacker, you can make it work, but these people that, the hogs, they target defenses when they don't realize loons do the same thing. Like, it baffles my mind.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's... You need to have something that you can work with. Right? We're happy to help people, but you need to have something to work with. You need to bring something to the table that we can work with. If you have nothing, then it's not us making something for you to make you good. You have to bring something to the table. But we've taken a slight swing. But I'll get us back on track by saying Clan Games is on, and as per usual, and you've probably noticed that there's less people coming in these days, but I don't like to recruit during Clan Games because of the whole mooching Clan Game rewards. And I think there is a little bit more satisfaction now that when you kick them, because they're clearly just here to get the 50-point easy low point challenge so that they can then get the rewards. There is a little bit of satisfaction knowing that they won't be able to have the extra reward if they were going to max out. So those people I kick explicitly stating that they will not get the extra reward, just in case they weren't aware that they were going to get an extra reward if they maxed out. I like to give them that so that they can think, okay, what kind of extra reward are they thinking about? Maybe I should make an effort and actually help.
Well, and I remember telling you, I think last time, that I know I get satisfaction now knowing that if we kick them and they haven't completed a challenge yet, they can't start Clan Games in any other clan. Like, they're the minute they come into our clan... I still don't believe
that.
I've tested it.
I've
tested it.
I'm sure there must... I don't know if that's right. I know that you've tested it, but if it is the case, I don't see that being a form of disgruntlement in terms of people in the forum or what have you. I'm sure there would have been outrage of, but it's not fair because the clan had a vendetta against me and, blah, 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 So I don't know if that's true, because there would have been a lot of people that would have been upset.
I'll definitely test it again, because I don't need rewards on one of them, so I'll definitely go and test it again.
So I think, obviously because it's a two-way thing, just because you get bad players, you also get bad clans, but so I don't know, I would have expected a lot more grumblings about how if that's the way it worked, there would have been...
Well, but if people are playing just to do that, they know that they're, not playing it the way that it was intended, so even if they were to complain on a forum or something, I don't think they'd get much sympathy from people, and that's probably why they don't.
But I think that there would be a lot of them. Do you know what I mean? These are the people that would complain that they've been bad and therefore, but it's not their fault. And these are the type of people that would complain.
But too, if that's what they do, and that's, they're probably smart about it too, because I know that people have come into the clan and said, yeah, I'm going to do this, wait for everybody to go offline, and then do it while they're offline.
Yeah.
And then, like, they'll wait the hour, they'll wait us out, until somebody goes offline if they really want it. So, I mean, I think the people that do it are not your average just dumb idiots. I think they're intelligent about the way they're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, there will be, obviously, people that want to game the system or what have you. But generally, I think I would have noticed a lot more grumblings on that. But yeah, so as I was saying, I appreciate the fact that they've now introduced this extra reward, but so it feels a little bit like our clan has been used. Because it's not a nice feeling that everyone in clans working together to achieve this max rewards, and then someone comes in and doesn't care one jot about the clan and yet gains from our efforts. There's always that argument of this person still contributed that 50 points and that could have tipped you over the edge, but I don't believe that. I'm against that argument, more the fact that I know that our clan always achieves it without those 50 points. We always achieve it with our established members. Mm-hmm. So even with their help, we would have done it. Even without their help, we would have achieved max games. So yeah, I'm glad they introduced that max tier extra reward thing, so that it hurts a little less that we were used. And gives us a little bit of satisfaction that they don't get everything that we work hard for. Mm-hmm. But yes, as I was saying, I don't tend to recruit or don't like recruitment during those days, because again, relating back to giving them the welcome speech, making them feel at home, letting them know what we were about, what we do, gets tired if all they're wanting is for the clan games, but also I don't want to be on the game 24/7, but I feel the need to make sure then I've given them the spiel. What are they going to do for the next 10, 20 minutes? Like you said, some people will wait us out. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to be on that game forever, and it's just, I feel more like I have to, just to make sure that they're not sponging off us. So that's probably why recruitment's gone down a bit. But that's not what we wanted to talk about clan games today.
No.
I'll let you set the scene, shall we?
Well, it was probably, you and I are ones that want to max clan games fully and doing that. I know that we've touched upon this before in getting, we like to get $39.95, the most we can get, and then find that 1,000 point at the end to fully max.
Yeah, and that's what we mean by fully max, not just the 4,000 that you can get.
Yeah. So in allowing us to do that, we did notice that if everybody was offline, being a smaller clan like we were, if everybody was offline for about 5 minutes or so, the challenges would always refresh. And being a small clan like ours and a mixed clan, it was definitely very helpful, because we would have Town Hall 6s in there, or Town Hall 6 challenges that the 7s and 8s could take, because they find those in the bases, and vice versa. There were siege machines where the lower ones couldn't take, where we would take. So in mixing it up, refreshing them, it would kind of give us a new batch and whatnot. And for whatever reason, the first day I noticed that it wasn't refreshing. It felt like it wasn't refreshing at all. And you had pointed out that, somebody could have popped online, and I agreed to that, but it was a full work day for me, and the same donate spell challenge was there, and I know that it was the same one, because I was looking at it, and the one right beside it was the same too, and I was just like, it felt odd. that they hadn't refreshed. It felt odd given the size of our clan and the history of, how many times it would refresh, and just before, it was just odd that it hadn't refreshed. So I went into the forum that evening and posted something, has anybody noticed this? Just wondering, blah, blah, blah. And my post that I created got attached to the Clan Games post, and that was when I read the entire thing to find out that Supercell found the bug, that they want to call it, in that it was never supposed to refresh like that. It was always supposed to just stay the challenges that they were, and as a clan you were supposed to choose them and do them and trash them all on your own. So
and what do you think about that?
Well, it definitely created an uproar in the forum. I read Darian's response. I read a couple of Darian's responses. I think that I don't think it's fair to. I just think it's bullshit. I think it's bullshit that they forgot to put it in the release, like in the update notes. I think that it's...
Yeah, I mean, I think you should probably explain for those that perhaps don't know what he said. Maybe just give a brief synopsis.
I can't even remember what he said. He said, given the circumstances of what's going on in the world right now with all the developers and whatnot having to work at home, it was just something that was forgotten about. They just forgot to put it in the release notes because everything else was going on. And to that, I think is just bullshit, because a change like that, the impact on how many clans in the game that it has had an impact on, I think it's just bullshit that a big change like that was forgotten about.
I don't think that they thought it was a big change. I think, sorry.
I don't know how you could not think it's a big change, because he was saying that in his clan, being an international clan, they never got to utilize it because they were, a full clan, international clan, somebody was always on. And even to that, I say bullshit, because you can't tell me that even in a clan that size, somebody's always online every single time. Like, it's just...
Maybe they're all, 10-year-olds. You never know, because they never sleep.
But even still, like, it's just... And the thought that it's taken 2.5 years for them to find it, like, it just... No. I don't buy it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're not for this change then?
No.
So
no, it was a lot easier for them to leave the bug and make the few clans that didn't know about it aware of it than it is to take away the bug and disrupt how many smaller clans now that are going to struggle to get max points, or that are going to struggle to get through those challenges because they don't have specific town halls that can donate siege machines, that can, take the town hall 6s. And now, instead of going off for 10 minutes or 5 minutes to refresh the challenges, you have to take a challenge, trash the challenge, and wait your cooldown time, which is anywhere from 10 to 3 hours. Mm-hmm. So instead of going offline for just 10 minutes, you're having to spend an entire day trashing events or trashing challenges, only to come back on and find that there's more crap ones that you have to take and trash. And like, it's where people could play clan games and get them over with in like 2 or 3 hours. Now it's going to take them the better part of a day to get them done because of what they have to go through, because of what they have to take and trash. And I mean, that's an entire clan having to do that. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there are ones that definitely, took it to their advantage because they knew, okay, if I can go offline, the chances of a 35 coming up or 1,000 coming up, so I could get those, so I could totally max out, it was a lot easier to do that. And I can see why, it might not have been intended that way, but for them to just, like, there was no reason for them to take it out. I don't feel there was any reason. It was not hurting anybody. He said that it was an unfair advantage to these other clans that, you know, had 50 people and international and whatever. And like I said to that, I just say it was a poor excuse. Poor excuse.
Yeah, I mean, some would say that by having a large clan, they're able to cycle through the tasks.
That's just it. Like, they can, because they have so many, if they've got 10 people online, each of them can pick one, and then there's 10 new challenges. For a smaller clan like ours, like, we never have 10 people on at the same time. Like,
we have had once. We've had up to 12.
Well, at the end of at the end of a war, maybe. But I mean, it's just,
we have life. But yeah, no. So I guess I'll give you my take on it. It's very similar to yours, minus all the swearing. But that's just swearing in my head. So yes, I do not understand what this advantage is. The example that Darian gave about having a large international clan, some people are more active in clan games than others. For example, like you and I want to max out or what have you, right? Actually, I don't actually think Darian is thinking of the type to sort of... When we say max out, we mean fully max out. I think he's just thinking someone that wants to reach 4,000.
And I was just gonna, I didn't touch on this, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I don't think, like how he thinks that, like, there's a website that, you know, has everybody on there with how many points they have. Like, that doesn't have anything to do with the game. So how it's an advantage for all these other clans and not these 50, like, ones with 50 and international. Like, I don't understand how he thinks it's an advantage that way. Like,
yeah,
that
so
doesn't have anything to do with the game. You don't get a special prize. It's just something that somebody created outside of the game as a way to track. So, I mean, it has nothing to do with the game itself.
But then what I think what he's trying to say, though, and what the advantage is, I'll say that doing the little inverted commas because I don't believe it is an advantage. But he was saying that because you're in a large international clan, the people that are playing in the clan games more actively in that clan aren't able to cycle through as quickly as someone that has, you know, who they aren't able to take advantage of everyone being offline and the board resetting or recycling. So that is well, yeah. That's what he's saying. It's unfair for those people in that large clan because they shouldn't be asking other people to say, hey, I know you don't play clan games, but this is all sucky. Can you either take a challenge or, you know, are you gonna, you know, be... I don't understand why you wouldn't coordinate your clan to help you if you're particularly active in those games. Okay, be it, can you take a challenge or can you go offline for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever it is, the threshold is, so that the board can reset. I don't think that that's a big ask of your clan. If you're in a clan that wants to help and support each other, I would do that. If you told me, hey, the board, I can't finish any of these tasks, and I know you don't play Ganglands, but do you spare 10 minutes just to get off so that I can reset it? Or can I get a time when you're all going to be off? When you're happy to be off? You know? I'd work with that clan. I'd you know, find an agreeable solution. If you don't want to, fine. If you don't want to be offline, fine. But then take a challenge. You know, take a challenge so that something else can come up. You know, you'd work within your clan. So there is still that sort of strategic, collaborative nature of working within your clan with the means of what your clan is composed of, be it large numbers of people or small numbers of people. So I don't believe that was such an advantage to be, you know, taking that smaller clans had, or people that are in their one-man clans of like 15, 20 accounts. You know, I don't believe that was it. And I again, he keeps using this word advantage, and I do not know what this advantage is, because everyone caps at 1,000. You can't contribute more than 1,000 points to your total games. Your clan games, right? Everyone caps at 4,000, but then everyone also has to wait the full 7 days that the clan games last. So no, just because you get your full total quicker doesn't mean you get your rewards quicker. You still gotta wait. What is the advantage of a clan, a different clan to yours, them getting their rewards before you do, as a them getting their 50,000 clan game points before you do? You still get the same rewards at the same exact time that the clan game ends.
Unless they're doing because I remember telling you a couple episodes ago that when the update fell out, that I was expecting something totally different because of something I had heard Darian say in the past about, they're coming out with this new strategic clan, way clans do things towards something. So maybe the next installment of the update has something to do with how Clan Games is done, and maybe there will be a change to that
like
effect.
Clan Games version 2 or something like that.
Yeah, well, something like, and maybe that's why they found this bug, was because something that is going to be coming out in a future update had something to do with Clan Games. I'm hoping so.
Then they're not being transparent about it as well. Then in that case, just say, no, we need this. We need people to. I mean, it was going on about how you shouldn't have to ask your clan to not play the game. And I'm like, well, that's just the way that bug presented itself, If the bug was something else, we wouldn't be telling people to close the class.
Now we just have to send mails, say to people, take challenges, keep taking challenges, keep trashing challenges.
But then, again, what is the advantage? I could not, for the life of me, know what disadvantage was. I don't understand how it was unfair, because I just don't know. Is it because Supercell does not think that someone that has 20 odd accounts, or some smaller clans that only have, let's say, it's 13 the amount of people that you need to max out games if everyone maxed out the totals, right? So is Supercell saying then that these people were then hitting their 50k when really in real life without this bug they wouldn't have? Because of that ability to refresh, that meant they were able to pick the higher challenge points and therefore reach max. Is that then...
If they're thinking like that and figuring things out like that, how come it took them 2.5 years to find the bug in the first place?
I mean, just on that bug has been there, and it's the worst kept secret, okay? That bug has been there since Clan Games went live, and it's taken them 2.5 years to address it, okay? And it's like you said, why are they calling it a bug? Why can't they... I'm not saying that they should just revert the changes of, the fix, but ultimately, these challenges are on the board for too long. There needs to be some mechanism for the clan to have some sort of control over how to refresh those challenges, and it can't...
Let me pay Elixir or Dark Elixir to get that crap
It can't
off the
only
board.
just be from, you need to get more people in so that they can all systematically trash challenges. That cannot be the way that works, because people have short attention spans and they're not going to want to do that, right? 4 days on end just to cycle through.
You can't expect clan leaders to change the way that their clan is run just because they screw things up.
I don't know how it's okay for a clan leader to say, okay, everyone, I need you to take a challenge so that someone can finish a clan game, and how that is any different from, okay, everyone, let's arrange a time so that you can all be offline so that the thing can refresh. How is that any different from clan management? I don't know, right? But I feel like part of me laughs a little, chuckles. I'm thinking, is it because, was it just that there's an intern in and they needed to give him a bit of work to do? Because this bug clearly had no detrimental effect ever. No, not one post I have ever seen for the past 2.5 years says, this is unfair, that the board resets. Not one post, right? And the fact that they've only just discovered it makes me think that everyone of those Supercell employees must be in large clans, so woohoo for them. And therefore do not understand how, and perhaps maybe they should see how smaller clans work. But that's an aside. So, but the fact that this is a fix that takes resource, right? At work, everything takes resource, and that resource you have a finite amount of resource, and you have to apply that to your best. You prioritize what you do at work, right? It doesn't matter if you're a gaming company, you're whatever industry. It's always your workforce is a finite amount of resource, and what do you want to get done to put that resource in. So someone had to make this fix. And I don't understand how a bug like this somehow made it to the top of the prioritization list for someone to spend time and effort to fix it. Unless it was such an easy fix because someone had to close a bracket or something like that. And to give it to an intern and say, here, you can do this small, tiny piece of work and you can help. And then it's just caused this whole massive blow up in terms of the game itself. And they're like, oh, crap. Because why would they, unless it's like you said, it's part of a bigger picture plan, but why would you spend resource to fix a bug that no one actually knew was a bug? We thought that's actually just the way the game works. They've done that in the
past, though. They did that in the past, and I maybe you'll remember, but when I first joined the clan, it was probably a couple months in. There was another update where something wasn't mentioned in the release notes, and then they claimed it was a bug.
Oh, I can't remember, but this is not the first time they've done this, and things like that, And I think fine if Supercell is saying this is the way that it's meant to be, end of, fine. Okay.
That's the same reason the game. This is the way it was meant to be.
Just don't say that other people were, it was unfair. It gave an unfair advantage, because I cannot understand that argument. If you're saying this is the way it is, end of, don't spout it off that some people were unfairly advantaged by it, because I don't see how they were, because my rewards are the same as their rewards. We get them at the same time. I can only contribute X amount the same amount of times. So, I mean, that's a good point that you raise. It must, unless it's a part of a bigger plan, I don't understand how they could justify spending resource to fix a bug that nobody thought was a bug, was actually help. It was a feature.
And so quickly.
But then, and at the same time, why do they always, the first port of call is to remove it? Why does it always have to be that way? Why can't they think outside the picture and actually think, okay, actually, feedback saying, it's actually not detrimental. Why don't we just, like you said, let everyone know? Then everyone will know. And it wasn't even a big secret. Nobody said, don't tell anyone, by the way. Why not think outside the box, turn it around, what have you, just think differently rather than, no, we need to stop that. Why can't you just say, why don't we tell everyone about it so everyone's on the same page? Because nobody's actually getting an advantage here, but they do need to come up with some mechanism to address the fact that these challenges are on the board for way too long. So yeah, well, I hadn't thought of it that way, so I guess it gives me hope that maybe it is part of another 2-year plan to do something with clan games, but I don't know how they could have justified fixing this when there's so many other things. I mean, for example, let's just look at it this way, right?
Because last clan games, they refresh. So I mean, this bug has come up in less than a month. It's come up, they found it, and they've had a quick a fix for it right
Unless
away.
They were trying to. That's what I mean, right? Unless they just gave it to the intern.
But there's other things that they would have been working on to try and fix, and this one they just had a solution for right away. It's just.
So, but then
that's what makes me think that maybe it's part of a bigger picture, because they found it while they were we're going to do this and this and this, and then wait, why is this like this?
Mm-hmm.
So
But I mean,
and because Darian didn't want to spoil it or give anything away about the next update because they're still focused on this one. Maybe that's the reason he was told to give, or maybe that's what they came up with. Who knows?
I think that has actually backfired on them because now we're all just bashing them to say that is the worst, ridiculous excuse ever, blah, blah, blah. And it's not going to help them and their reputation in terms of being transparent. And
their reputation's going to be fine because their pay-to-play winner or pay-to-play players are going to carry the game on for how long?
No, but what I'm saying is it's not how you run a good company to do if no. That's the way that is trying to work out. But in the same time, like, so I'm thinking, okay, this was a bug that nobody thought was a bug, right? But then you're saying that other people are advantaged by it. But similarly, then are they going to fix all these other bugs that we don't think are bugs? For example, when your lab is about to finish training a troop and upgrading a troop, you can always get a kickback of, that resource of whatever troop that you're getting from. Say you're upgrading Valks, you queue a whole army of Valks and then your upgrade finishes and then you unqueue the Valks, you get extra Dark Elixir back. That's unintentional, surely.
Somebody should make a list of all the other things and post it and say, look, these are all other bugs. Are you going to be fixing this?
Am I disadvantaging someone because I'm a Town Hall 10 with Valks compared to someone who's Town Hall 8 with Valks?
Well,
clearly, I'm getting more Dark Elixir back. And I
was reading in the forum as well, somebody as well posted, gave a list of about 7 or 8 things that were other disadvantages that weren't being addressed or whatnot. And some of them were actual good points. It's and they found this bug that wasn't really a bug that wasn't hurting anybody.
Yeah. So let's just all hope that you're right and it's part of Clan Games version 2.
I do hope so because obviously, like I said, when I first joined, a couple months later, however long it was later, they came out with something. It was this exact same thing. We found a bug. This is the way it was meant to be. I remember being upset about it then.
Is it not putting the Town Halls onto the inside of the base or something?
No, because that wouldn't have affected me. So obviously, whatever it wasn't a big deal. Got over it. I've played the game for however long now. So, obviously this is going to be, whatever. But it's just be upfront about it. Don't try and cover your ass because of whatever.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And that's why I think in the last 2 weeks it's been up and down about how I feel about Supercell. Let's hope for version 2 of Clan Games, and that's why. Who knows? But right now, it's hard. Clan Games is not fun at all because the boosted tasks are just still we're talking boosted tasks from 100 to 200 points. That's nothing. When you're
I've seen 2,000 pointers. I managed to get one of them, and that's it. I never did get the 35s. I had to settle for 39.75 because I was worried because they wouldn't be refreshing, that I wouldn't find the 1,000. So I got 39.75. I sacrificed 20 points just so when that 1,000 came up, I would make sure that I got it. And it was frustrating because then not long after that, I kept on cycling and wouldn't you know, 70 popped up.
Yeah, so but again, I don't think that Supercell has considered these different types of players. We're not just wanting to max out the full 4,000. There's people that are trying to cycle the game so that they can get certain challenges that are rare anyway in the first place.
The game was intended. They will say that's not the way the game was intended. You were supposed to take and play the challenges that were available and have them cycle on their own.
But then, and I don't know if this was a happy accident, but the fact that your 35s and your 1,000 point games, they're so rare. So again, you know, you would have thought that if all challenges were created equal, they would come up in the same recurrence and everything. And then that's a fair platform. You know, everyone has the same chance because they're always going to be available. But I don't know, but this Clan Games is rough. So, I mean, we've maxed out, but it's still rough.
It'll be interesting to see what they come out with for next month because, and I mean, like I said, it concerns me where their focus is in terms of their players. I know that they've, put some things in the forums now where they're asking for ideas and just seeing what's kind of out there, maybe to see what direction to take the game in. But I think that, are they going to be too worried about this Clan Games thing? No, because they still have what I think they're focused on, and that is their pay-to-play players that are promoting the game via, all the tournaments and stuff that they've got going on. I think that their focus is on those people, and are those people concerned about Clan Games? No. So that's just, I've been thinking about that, and it's just, I'm trying to keep a positive mind about it, but it's tough.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that brings us to, things that I've read online. And so this is why I've been kind of topsy-turvy about how I feel about Supercell in the past few days, because they've released some interesting things over the last few days on the forum. So I thought we could talk about that.
Yeah, because I haven't seen anything or heard anything.
So they released, and they never released any kind of data because it's all proprietary and all that. They keep saying they keep figures very close to their chest and never send out figures or once in a blue moon. So they released I guess a snapshot of some trends for the Super Troops. I don't know if you saw that.
That one I did see, yes.
So they basically showed us a line graph of each of the Super Troops, and pretty much from when they were released to now what their usage is over time. So I think everyone's trying out new troops and whatnot, but over time, obviously you've got your peak once they've been released, everyone wants to try and play with them and stuff, but then over time it's plateaued as people start having ideas, start having favourites in terms of what they like to use. And I think he said that Supergiant, I think, and that's something that I said, I was quite looking forward to the Supergiant, but I think the Supergiant has sort of popularity has plummeted somewhat. And I agree. I'm like I said last time, I'm not a fan of the Supergiants as much now. So that I don't think has landed as well. Whereas what is it? Is it the Barbarian? No, the Goblin is actually the top out of them all in terms of usage over time. And you can understand why that is because they're useful for farming. I think it was Goblin, Barbarian, then the Super Wall Wrecker, and then the Giant. Is that right?
I think the Barb and the Wall Breaker might have been, I'm not sure on those two, they might have been switched, but Goblins was definitely number one and Giants was definitely last.
Yeah, like significantly, there is no argument that they were first and last. And I thought that was quite interesting. Not exactly, mind blown kind of data, because we can guess from our own experience, but it was nice to see that that's something that they've looked at, and it was nice to see sort of the blips and the trends and things like that. What did you think?
It was something that I just kind of been preoccupied the last week and a half or so, and just haven't really looked at anything in here. But I'm just trying to find that now. Super Troops. Yeah, for me, the stats, it was just I mean, and I can understand, because I do know, I remember them saying that, they don't release anything because they want, the game to speak and the players to speak for it and whatnot. So, I mean, it wasn't really a shock to me that they did, but it was kind of like, oh, okay. It was something, like you said, that we already knew just from our own experience. So,
so that was, I thought was it was different. So I quite appreciated that it added a bit of something different to read, and I quite like looking at the trends. So therefore that was quite interesting.